Hello and welcome to another replica reviews video. Now today we're going to be doing another one of the kind of Airsofty 6mm reviews. So we have in front of you the WE G Series 17. Now this is basically just a Glock 17 replica, not licensed or anything, so don't expect any Glock trademarks or anything like that. Still a really nice replica, and as you can see it comes in a pretty standard box. It's just a normal box really, just with a little sort of cardboard cutout on the inside, which is a little bit better than the kind of what I call the usual kind of basic airsoft packaging, where you just get a little card insert that flips over the top of a polystyrene cutout. For me, I just don't like it. Yeah, I don't know why. It's just one of those little things. So anyway, we'll open the box up, have a look. As you can see, graphics on the outside, nothing really too special. Just some kind of crazy, smoky, electry type design. Not my cup of tea, but anyway. So try and open it. There we go. So opening it up, we have just a basic user manual. Now this does cover quite a few things. Some basic safety tips, how to load the gun, different parts, what they're called, etc. Shooting, loading, and a really cool, well, I'm a little bit sad like this. I really like exploded diagrams and plans and how to dismantle things. It's just right up my street. So it's quite nice that they put all of the parts lists in, a quick guide on how to do disassembly. We're not going to do disassembly in this video, however I will quickly post a separate video. It'll only be sort of 2-3 minutes long, just giving you a basic guide on how to field strip and reassemble one of these guns, because by the looks of it, it disassembles pretty much like an actual Glock 17. So that'll make my life a little bit easier, because I should be able, in theory, just to disassemble it straight off. And just on the back here, just some really nice kind of Japanese, Taiwanese drawings, basically saying don't shoot yourself in the face, don't look down the barrel. Wire eye protection, what looks like don't put it in a lunchbox, but I'm sure, oh no, that makes sense, it's leave out of reach of kids. Don't shoot jumping children, only if they're on the floor, and no shooting like an artillery gun. They show, quite weirdly, it's showing a kid shooting a town off in the distance. Last time I checked, this was an airsoft pistol, not an artillery piece, but anyway, we'll go with it. And then obviously on the inside, just the gun and the magazine. Now apart from that, that's pretty much it. There's no kind of frilly gimmicks, anything like that. We don't have any speed loaders, cheap BBs, anything like that. You just literally get the gun and the magazine. So what we're going to do is just quickly move everything out of the packaging, try and get a little bit of a closer look in on the gun, and we'll give you a proper walk around. Okay, so hopefully that's giving you a little bit of a better view of the gun. Now as you can see, apart from the slightly awkwardly placed made in Taiwan sticker, it's one very realistic looking pistol. Now obviously in the long run you can take that off, that is just me being a little bit pedantic, but apart from that it's pretty spot on. Now obviously, not being a licensed replica, you don't get the Glock logos here. They have made an attempt to do their own little G here. It's not the same as the actual Glock. Some 17 markings, and these are all etched. These aren't stickers, they're not painted on or anything, it's actually etched in. Tactical logo just here. And what I really like is the 9x19. Now a lot of replicas never put 9x19 or you know, whatever by 45 or anything like that. They just put 6mm, 4.5, you know, whatever other calibers you can think of. So for me as a collector, it's quite nice to have the 9x19 markings on it. Now, as you'd expect from a Glock, the frame here is plastic. It's a really nice high-grade plastic polymer type thing. It doesn't have any creaks. You know, you can't squeeze it in. You can't. You know, it's solid. It's much like what you'd expect with a Glock. And then obviously the slide is going to be metal. Apart from that, it's all pretty kind of standard stuff really. Metal, I'm pretty certain that's plastic, with the second stage safety in the centre there as well. Magazine release catch releases the full size metal dropout magazine. Now as you can see, to gas this up, just push down on this little catch here, slide the base off. He says doing one-handed. And then we've got the, if I can just swivel this round, you've got the gas port there that hopefully you can just see in focus, which is, he's dropped it, this one just here. Now putting this back on is really simple as well. You just push down the catch that you pulled up, slide the base on, and then job done. Now one thing I really like about the magazine is, hopefully as you can see on the back here, they've etched in how many rounds, because obviously on a real Glock 17 this would be a double stack magazine, so they've etched how many rounds are there, which is a really nice feature. The only problem is obviously because it's a solid magazine, the holes which would, you know, in the ideal real world would show you where the rounds are actually full, so they kind of look like reverse bullet stops on the left here. But either way, it's a really nice magazine, and it does add a lot of weight. I have found when the magazine's in, it does balance the pistol out really nicely. So apart from that, that's pretty much the back end covered. As I mentioned a second ago, there aren't really any safety catches on the Glock 17. For anybody that's familiar with the Glock itself, it's a single action trigger only, i.e. you have to cock it first, but then when you do cock it, it opens up the split trigger safety. Now what this basically means is you can't accidentally just swipe the trigger and it'll blow your foot off as you're bringing it out the holster, because you need to have both bits pressed in before you can actually engage the trigger. So what I quickly do is just rack this back, and as you can see, it just pops out like so. So to fire it, if I just push here, as you can see, won't go in, doesn't work at all. Whereas if I push in this center section here, it releases the trigger and then allows me to break off the shot. Now breaking off the shot on this gun is actually really nice. The trigger they've done an awful lot of work with, and it's one of the smoothest ones I've come across. It's really weird. There's no kind of, you're creeping towards the bite point, you're creeping towards the bite point, bang. It's just a case of, well, there's the bite point, you pushed it past it, the gun's gone off. It's quite a nice trigger, and I have to say I'm very impressed with it. So that's a really nice feature. Now obviously a lot of people might want safety catches, etc. All I would say is if you want a gun with more safety catches, then possibly the Glock 17 isn't the gun for you. Really nicely featured on the front are the rails as well, so you can fit on any lasers, flashlights, combination of both, or anything else that you can possibly think of strapping to the front of a Glock. Again, a really nice feature. If you are going to put bits and pieces on the front, it might just be worth making sure, that your holster can accept it. I've seen a few people, they put flashlights on like a Safariland holster, and then they wonder, oh, it doesn't fit in anymore. Yeah, because it's not the frame of the gun anymore. You've added something to it. Obviously, with the nice quick release rails on the front, you can, as long as you buy proper decent flashlights and lasers and etc., you can just take them off in a heartbeat. Really is quite a quick, simple, straightforward thing to do. Now, one thing I really do like about the Glocks from WE are the sights. And as you can see, they use this half picture frame style sights, and I really like it. Target acquisition with this pistol is incredibly fast. You can bring it straight up, it's into line with your eyesight, and then you can engage the target at quite a rapid rate. Now I really like this. I do wish more companies, Umarex, if you're watching this in particular, with the air pistols, please do this more, because the sights I personally feel are just so much better. It makes my life a lot easier. If you're looking at, I don't know, the Baikar Makarovs, the Colt 1911 replicas that seem to be going around, I think there's about 180 million of those at the moment, they all have really basic sights. So why not have these? Because they're just so much better. Now obviously I understand with a more tactical pistol like this, obviously it's going to have some nice tactical bits and pieces on it. But anyway, that's a different story, a different video, and I could rant all day about that. As I'm sure you've guessed, this is a blowback pistol. Basically what that means is every time you pull the trigger, whilst it's gassed obviously, the slide will cycle back. Now what that really does mean is something I really love about these guns, is that you have an open chamber, much like you would with an actual firearm. Hopefully, I don't know if this is going to come out too well, there you go, you can just see down through. What that basically allows you to do is, one, see when your gun's empty, because on the last shot it locks back, but two, also if you get a blockage, you can just rack it back, tip it over, give it a tap if you need to, and then bring it forward and you're ready to chamber in your next round, which, it's a really neat feature. The blowback on these guns, obviously being a metal slide, is quite nice. It's not the strongest blowback in the world, but it'll do, unfortunately. If you want a really strong blowback gun, possibly look at if you're into your air pistols as well, look at things like the Tanfolia Witnesses or any of its variants, or even better the SIG X5 made by Cybergun. Cracking bit of kit, and it kicks like a donkey. So if you want something with strong recoil, that's definitely one thing to go for. Now flipping the gun over on this side, one thing I almost overlooked, there's no kind of off-putting markings saying this is a toy, warning, don't be stupid with it. You've just got some really nice basic bits and pieces, just a logo down here just explaining it's made by WE. A little thing there just saying, read safety manual, etc. Pretty straightforward. And then something I really like is the serial number on the slide and the serial number on the breech block here actually match, which I really like. Sad little thing, I know, but for me it's just nice to have matching serial numbers. Not many companies do serial numbers at the moment, or at least ones that count. You know, they just usually put a random number on the side just for the sake of having a random number. Whereas we seem to have actually had matching graphics, which are quite nice, and then some crazy Chinese markings. Now, unfortunately, I don't speak Chinese. If you can see that and you can read it, please let me know what it says, because I'm just curious. I'd like to know. And unfortunately, Google, I don't even know where to start. The ejector pin here is obviously fixed, but it is quite nice that they have it featured on the side. It just adds to the realism of the pistol. And as you can see, raking it back there, you can just see the gas system in the back. So that's pretty much it for the review on the G17, really. There's not too much to say about these guns. They are pretty much universal. They are what they are. If you're into airsoft and you're looking for a sidearm, I cannot recommend this gun enough. For me, I had a little bit of experience with Glock 17s in the past, so it's quite nice to be able to pick up a replica that feels pretty much identical. Now, if you want to see a field strip video, I will quickly film one of those in 2 seconds, and we'll post it up, and I'll put a link in the description below, as and when it's up. If not, quickly give me a poke on the comments, and I'll post a link up there to you directly. So if you've got any more comments, questions, anything like that, feel free to post them below. If you want to see some nice close-up pictures that I took of this earlier on today, feel free to check out our Facebook page. Again, I'll put a link to that in the description, or just simply search Replica Reviews on Facebook, and it'll bring our page up there. We are creeping ever so close to 100 likes. I would love to get over 100 likes. Just makes it kind of all worthwhile. I'm using it as almost like a little forum, a mini Facebook forum. There's not many airgun forums or, you know, anything specifically to do airgun reviews as such on Facebook. So we're trying to turn it into sort of a one-stop shop for anything kind of airgun, airsoft review related. So if you wanted to check out any of the latest reviews, in a couple of cases I found out about gun releases before the suppliers. So, you know, if you want to get sort of the latest information, feel free to pop over there. As I said, links in the description. But until our next video, thank you very much for watching. If you've got any questions, feel free to post them below. But thank you very much for watching another one of our videos.